we go. We're started. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here. Wow, I am so excited and honored to be able to kick this women health series off, specifically talking around perimenopause and beyond. I know that your time is valuable, so I'm going to keep this brief and short, 15 to 20 minutes. And if you're here, it's probably because you've also felt some kind of shift in your body and you want answers. Also, just a note, I do have notes here to kind of keep me on track. So this series is going to be about education. It's going to be about giving value, clarity and support. We're not going to go into just a disclaimer, talking a lot about hormonal therapy. I know I've had a lot of questions from people who are like, are you going to be talking about hormonal therapy as a pharmacist? And although I would love to delve into that subject with you, I believe that's a conversation that if you were interested, you could have with your local pharmacist and your GP or your family doctor or gynecologist, because there is a lot of information around that is very personalized. We're going to be talking a lot about lifestyle changes, shifts that you can make, tomorrow, shifts that you can make within the day throughout this series. So there's no extremes and like no fear-based type of messaging here. So when I thought about having this series, this is funny. I thought about that woman who was walking through the grocery store, who was thinking to herself about how she was looking at the different types of yogurt, believe it or not, and thinking to herself, I hear all this stuff about protein, and she's deciding about, does she need high protein yogurt, this yogurt? Like, she's looking at it and she's kind of confused because she's heard about perimenopause. She might be thinking to herself, am I having some of these types of symptoms? She's gleaning stuff gleaning stuff from Instagram or TikTok, and she wants to have like answers. She wants to know like what the hell is actually happening in my body. So this is what we're going to do. I hope you can take some key takeaways, get some light bulb moments through myself and the other healthcare practitioners and professionals that are going to be providing this to you. So we're going to talk about those things. So over the next 6 weeks, we're going to talk about things that are really affecting you in real life. Hormones, weight changes, stress, nutrition, sleep, movement, like exercise, gut health, skin, and inflammation. So each of these weeks is going to stand on its own. And I did that because the busy woman who is strolling through the grocery store looking for different types of yogurt is also, very busy. She has children. She has a lot going on in her life. And she wants to be able to take that information quick and easy, have the quick takeaways, and be able to integrate it quickly. So I want to make this valuable for you, but also short and effective. Where it is going to stand on its own, but everything will connect. So this week, I'm just going to tell you like what to expect a little bit, kind of like what really perimenopause is. And kind of once you understand all this, kind of like put it all together and it'll start to make sense. So a quick overview. So week one today, it's kind of like what's actually happening in your body. We've heard this P word, but what does that actually mean? Talk about like fat gain in your metabolism. That's going to be by another pharmacist. Myself again, the following week, stress, cortisol, and our nervous system. Nutrition realities from a dietitian. Exercise, sleep, and recovery is going to be from a pharmacist, a teacher, and also Andrea, who has a lot of anecdotal experience. And as well as week 6, we have a guest speaker who is not within our kind of like group here. She's a certified holistic nutritionist, and she's going to chat with us about gut health, bloating, skin, and inflammation. And she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to gut health, specifically bloating. So I myself am really looking forward to that. Okay, so who am I and why am I doing this? So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Kim. I'm a pharmacist of almost 20 years, which is absolutely nuts to think about. I'm also a mom of 3 boys. I live on a farm here in Kamloops, BC. My husband is outside right now tagging a new calf. And also I'm a woman who's navigating this season of her life as well. I'm doing this because I really don't think women, like I said, should have to piece together different kinds of information from influencers or things that you're getting here or there. Like, I want you to have some clarity and understanding and go into this season feeling supported and most of all seen. We go through all these seasons in our life as women: puberty, pregnancy, postpartum. And yet I feel like perimenopause and menopause is kind of something that we don't talk about. Like, it's kind of like something that is it's kind of just like closed doors. It's a type of thing. And I feel like when we don't talk about it, you can feel confused, frustrated, and alone. So my personal story, so that hopefully this is really relatable, is that I didn't really connect that this is something that could be happening to me. It was around this time last year where I had a lot of unexplained, I would say like weight gain in my middle section. I just turned 41. I was like, eating clean, doing all the right things, exercising, like I was having my avocado toast and all that kind of stuff. But yet my body seemed to just like my body composition changed to, to the fact where I was like, oh God, I really hope I'm not pregnant with my fourth baby. Because it was all right here. And I was like, and I kept thinking, like looking and like kind of comparing. And I was like, this is like strange. But it kind of just honestly just like came out of nowhere. And I didn't have any real explanation because nothing had really changed. And what also was happening was that I was gaining weight, like mostly specifically in that section, no matter like what thing that I ever did. And I felt kind of confused about what happened in this stage of life. And now that I look back and I start piecing together not only that but some of the other symptoms that I was going through, I kind of have this understanding that I was probably am currently in some of these early stages of this perimenopause. And what could I do to kind of like help support that? So I did actually ask myself, like, what am I doing wrong? And sometimes when you're an educated person, you can feel kind of a little bit of shame. Like, I didn't know, I wasn't, because we don't really learn a lot about this. It's not something that, we don't take a long class in perimenopause. Like I learn about it, but as to how like I can integrate lifestyle changes, that was a new thing for me. So I decided to learn, of course. So this education matters because I want you to have that understanding and move forward with confidence, grace, and clarity. So really, what is perimenopause? Now we're getting into the meat of it. So perimenopause is really a transition phase before menopause. So it can last anywhere from 7 to 10 years. And when, when I thought about that, it started to connect the dots. So this is perimenopause is not really defined by hormone loss, but it's more defined by hormone fluctuations. So that's why for a lot of women, things feel really unpredictable. You feel like things are okay, things are not okay, because you're not really having a total loss, whereas menopause is defined as when you have a 12 months without any type of cycle, and then you go into a postmenopausal period. You can be experiencing perimenopause even when you have a normal cycle. So a lot of women might experience, oh, I'm in perimenopause because I have things, my cycles being intermittent, but you can actually still be in some of the fluctuations long before that even shows up. And for me, that was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe that kind of like makes some sense to me. The things that I find that most often women say to me and how I explained it to a lot of people was that I just don't feel like myself. I don't feel like myself. And even if you go to a doctor and they're like, I know a lot of people around this stage may consult with a naturopath or a physician to be like, can I get my hormones tested? And they come back and they're like, you know what? Everything looks totally fine. Your lab values look normal, but you're saying like, I don't feel great. I have, symptoms of like anxiousness. My sleep has gone. I'm going to talk about how that kind of starts to happen. But the thing is that those tests that they're doing or hormonal tests are like a snapshot in time. They're like, when were they done? Where were you in your cycle? If everything is kind of fluctuating, it's a really hard to get a precise kind of like lab value over a baseline, which you probably didn't have in the first place, to know, is there any actual real change happening in your body? So that leaves a lot of women to this frustration, and it leads them to turn to feeling that hopelessness or even just a little bit of disparity. So what estrogen and progesterone really do, I'm keeping this to kind of like a very simple explanation. Again, that woman going through the yogurt aisle is just wanting to know what the heck are they doing. Progesterone. So progesterone is the two main hormones we're going to kind of like chat about here briefly, progesterone and estrogen. Of course, there is a very complicated hormonal cascade that is involved in a lot of this, but I want to just, for layman's terms and to keep things like a simple explanation for you, progesterone, this one is something that supports our calmness. It helps with our sleep. It helps with our stress resilience. And quite often it starts to decline first. So again, it can be and that's different for every woman. So every woman's experience with this is going to be different. There's no like amount of which that would go at any point in time. And that's why it's so individualized. So that's why having the education helps you kind of like pinpoint, is this something happening to me? Then the next one is estrogen. Sorry, so when your progesterone drops, that's when a lot of women start to notice things like sleep, which oftentimes it comes up first. And that's the one thing I noticed. Anxiousness, feeling less able to handle things like less stress resilience within your body. And then there's estrogen. So this is one that starts to fluctuate. It's not necessarily one that declines, but again, it can go up and down throughout this period of time. It helps our metabolism and fat storage. It affects our mood, digestion. So mood can be, again, anxiousness. It can even lead to things like just like feelings of unwell or feelings of blahness. I think that was also something that I was feeling, was a feeling of blah. And it often fluctuates up and down before declining. So you have this period of time where women are having changes in their body that they can't really, like, you can't really put them or like actuate on a lab value. They just know that they're not feeling like themselves, but you can't really define it. You know what I mean? So of course that leads to a lot of people feeling like, what's happening with me? Okay. And you can see how sometimes you get a little hopeless. So that up and down pattern is why a lot of women feel random. So why these symptoms show up before periods change. So this is the thing. So a lot of people say, my periods are still normal. How can this be happening? So a lot of things that can happen is your ovulatory function starts to decline. So that gives you that inconsistent ovulation and fluctuations. And many of these women start to feel symptoms long before any cycle starts to change. So the weight gain around the midsection, the sleeplessness, muscle, joint, and pain is a big one. Frozen shoulder, as some women can experience, where it just feels like a pain kind of in the back here, brain fog, and then, of course, fatigue. So those can show up long before any kind of like cycles change because you have these fluctuations. So common early symptoms is that waking up at 3 to 4 a.m., increasing in bloating, skin changes like hormonal acne, which a lot of women start to experience specifically around their chin area, weight gain through your middle section, and then again, lower stress tolerance. And again, why labs often look normal is because these fluctuate. So they fluctuate daily, they fluctuate monthly. And then one of these lab tests is just one small little thing. So you could be told everything is normal, but you're still having this experience of like, why do I feel different? And the thing is that normal doesn't always feel optimal, and it doesn't, like I said, invalidate your experience. So how can these hormonal changes affect your whole body? And we're going to get into each of these individual sections over the next few weeks. We're going to start talking about why everything feels connected. We're going to talk about your metabolism. So why does this hormonal change make for your easier fat storage, specifically around the middle section? Stress. Why do you have a higher cortisol response leading to maybe a little bit of insulin resistance? How is your sleep lighter or fragmented? And a lot of women are experiencing that tiredness. Your digestion, is it bloating and sluggishness? And even like your skin starts to change where you might get like that acne or that dryness or or sensitivity, or I have a child running down the road here. But I just want you to know that you have a lot more to look forward to in this season. I want you to feel supported. I want you to have that clarity, and that's what we're going to bring to you. So I want you to know that your body isn't failing you. This isn't something that you can push through. It's a season that will deserve support. And when you can kind of understand what's really happening, we can start working with your body, not fighting against it. And so that is kind of like my quick little wrap up for today, to tell you kind of what's coming next. And this wanted to be a quick, short, really curiosity and experience. I think that was about 15 minutes about what to expect next. We're going to talk about the metabolism and fat storage, the stress and cortisol, which I am super excited to chat about. We're going to chat about the sleep and recovery as well, exercise, and like why pushing through isn't necessarily the best thing, and how you can have like gentle movement and still get results to support your nervous system, and then the gut health, and bloating and inflammation, and as well as your skin. So that is up for tonight. I wanted to keep these like short and sweet so you can look forward to having more information from the other practitioners. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it here. But I wanted to open it up for questions for each night. Does anybody have any questions before we go? The meat of everything is going to be coming in the next few weeks, and we're going to kind of link this all together. But if you have any questions specifically that even you want us to, which yogurt do you buy? Okay, which yogurt do I buy? I buy the 0% Greek yogurt. But let me tell you, that woman who is looking at that yogurt is confused because how many things do you have to pick? And then you're going to go to the cheese aisle where it says high protein, but it's actually really not high protein because they just took fats off of it. They took the fats out or they put more fats in and put more sugar in so it has higher protein. You know what I mean? So like I feel like sometimes, yeah, we're kind of a little bit duped about our protein and what we really should be doing in all areas of this because it just factors in one thing. Yeah, that's the kind of that's the kind of yogurt that I buy. Thanks. Looking forward to hearing more. Yes. I've been dealing with, frozen shoulder, Joywen, and also plantar fasciitis are one. There's a lot of other like medical things. There's like heart palpitations that some women experience, but the large ones that we're going to address that we see a lot of in our daily practice as well as in just speaking with clients in like our online businesses is like the bloating, is the hormonal acne, is like weight around the midsection, the feelings of like doing everything but not seeing any changes, and just really how to support your body, plus nervous system regulation, how to support your body through that season of life, through some lifestyle changes that you can very easily make within the day after the chat. She said hair loss and chin hair. Okay. Yeah, I actually did see something the other day where it said, why is it that if you pluck one eyebrow in 1996, it never grows back, but you pluck your chin hair and it's back in 15 minutes? Okay. That's so true. Oh, that chin hair. Yeah, we all got the one. Yogurt thoughts for dairy-free needs. So if you have, you can use goat yogurt, or you can use that. Oh, it's like that cultured coconut yogurt, I believe. You've had frozen shoulders since August and no clue why or what it was related to. My doc has no answers for me. Yes. So it's related to a decline in estrogen and progesterone because it weakens tendon strength, I believe. I did briefly look into frozen shoulder because you have like it like this. We could be here for like there's so much science behind some of this stuff, but a lot of physicians like, and I've like I feel for you if you go there and you talk with them and they say, oh, it could be it's nothing. It very well could be, and it's worth investigating. Is it something that's related to your hormones? And is there a way that you can support them through lifestyle changes, which will help bolster that? So yeah, okay, Samantha, I'm happy that you might have got a little bit of an answer. Okay, well, there's 40 people here. That's crazy. That's nuts. And we hope to have more next week. Are there any other questions before we go? Hair loss? Yep. Yep. There is going to be more coming up. Like I was talking with Carrie, I was like, we could do this for a full hour, and we may at some point look at conglomerating all of this and bringing it together in a larger seminar. But like I said, the busy woman, the busy woman trying to decide on the yogurt is going to get in and out in 15 to 20 minutes. And so you can even go back and watch the replay. And I want to honor everyone's time. Okay. Thank you, Tina. Okay, well, I guess Carrie can stop the recording.